CSIS 1430 is filmed before a live studio audience.
Hey everybody. At this point, you've learned a little bit about HTML, some basic syntax, and in fact, when I open up this site here, you should know exactly what's going on here. It's a very simple site. And you also know that if you load this up in a browser by double clicking on it, poof, there's your website, right? Local right here on my laptop. I'm not connected. I don't need to be connected to the internet. I can just see it locally. Now, if I want to say to all my friends and family, hey, check out my new fancy website, and I say, oh, the website address is C:// users/JStone. Obviously, that's kind of ridiculous, right? That's not going to do any good because that's local file path directly on my machine that nobody else has access to but me. So that's silly. So we're going to publish our websites live to where anybody with a web browser and internet access can see our websites. All right, so the first step is we're going to go set up a server, a remote server, and we're going to a website called freehosting.io. Once you're here, just click on register now. This doesn't require a credit card or anything like that. Go ahead and create a username. So I'm going to create mine and your name and fill out all the fields. Make sure you click on the I'm not a robot button and then click sign up, and poof, you're done. And it says registration successful. Please check your email to activate your account. So I'm going to head over to my email, do that. And as you can see right here, there's an email that says activate account. All I have to do is just click right there on that link. Then it takes me right here to the site with my credentials already there, ready to log in. If it doesn't put your credentials there, just go ahead and type them in and then click log in. Now that we've created an account, let's create a new website. All you do is go up here to Client, go down to click Create New Website. And when you do that, you'll see right down here, it'll say stonecoldprofessor.freesite.vip. That will actually be the URL of my new site, stonecoldprofessor.freesite.vip. And there's your password that you've already used previously to log into this and create this account. You can just use that. I don't know what will happen if you change that, so I'd rather not experiment with that. So I would just recommend using the same username and the same password that you used to create your account. Then go ahead and click I'm not a robot, and that's it. It's done. If you want to view it, you just simply come over here to the websites button, and it now shows you all of the websites that you have created. You can create more if you want to. We only need to create one for this website, and then all of our projects are going to be part of this website. Next up, we're going to take a look at our cPanel, and all you got to do is just click on the cPanel button right there, and I'll notice you'll get this little warning here, right? Just read it, make sure you're okay with it, and then click I approve. Now, don't panic when you look at this, right? There's a lot of stuff on here. Most of it we don't even care about. We're not even going to really look at it. But now that we've opened up cPanel and we've created the website, our website actually does exist. And if you want to go back to the tab from before, that is the domain name right there. And if I open a new tab and I paste it in there, you're going to see that here's the website. And this is actually my site here. It tells me it's been created and I need to delete this file called index2 and then add some stuff to my htdocs folder. We're going to walk through all that in just a couple of minutes. But the site is live right now. Let's just take a look though at a few things in the control panel right here. So when I give somebody my URL of stonecoldprofessor.whatever.vip or whatever the site was, .freesite.vip. Now, if I give somebody my URL, what really happens is a signal is sent to this very server that we're looking at right now, and it finds my specific portion of the server or servers, and it looks for a folder called htdocs. That htdocs folder, whatever's inside of it, that's what will be displayed in their browser. Okay, so if we look over here, we scroll down and we look for File Manager, we click on that, and you'll see this folder right here called htdocs. Notice it has a nice little text thing here that says, do not upload files here. This is not where they go. They actually go inside of htdocs. So if I just open that, files for your website should be uploaded here. This index2.html is the current file that's there, and that's it. We're going to add our files to this. And in fact, if I just take this file right here from my desktop, drag it into here, I've just dragged it into my htdocs. right? And I'm going to delete this index 2. I just click on it, and then this little menu pops up, and I click delete, confirm. And now this index.html is here. I can delete this. Files for your website should be here as well. You can leave it if it makes you feel more secure, but I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So now if I have people go to my site, stonecoldprofessor.freesite.vip, it is that one that we saw on my desktop because I've uploaded it right to here. Let's take a look at what's going on here with this index page. This is our root site, our home page, our home site, right? My site is called stonecoldprofessor.freesite.vip. Yours will be whatever your name is or whatever username you decide to pick, .freesite.vip. And that's our home page. In the future, what's going to happen, you're going to build, say, a pizza website, right? That's one of the things you're going to be building. And the folder will be called Pizza 1. And you'll type that at the end of the URL. And right now, it's just going to give me an error. There's nothing there. But on your site, there'll actually be eventually a pizza website there. In fact, let's just make it real quick right now. So I'm going to just create a new folder here, and we're going to call it Pizza 1. And this is one of your assignments that you'll be doing in a few weeks. Now, if I just open up Notepad here, I'm just going to copy and paste some code. I'm going to, actually what I'll do here, I'll copy this index into here, and I'm going to edit that and change it to Stone Cold Pizzeria. There we go. That's my fabulous pizza website, right? Now, if I come back over here to my website live, let's get rid of that. And I upload right here this pizza right into my root, right into the htdocs folder. You can see that's the folder I'm in. That's the root. Now I have this pizza-1. Well, now, as I tried a minute ago, if I do this /pizza-1, it looks for that index file in the pizza-1, and behold, there's my Stone Cold Pizzeria. All of your projects will be like that. You'll have another one that's, Stone Cold or whatever your site is, .freesite.vip /tic-tac-toe or /guessing game or /midterm or /YouTube. There's a whole bunch of different ones that you guys are going to be doing, and each one of them will have their own folder. And so throughout the course of the semester, this thing right here will just keep building and building and building. You'll have all these different folders here. To start off, there's actually 3 folders I want you to put in there right now. And they are one called CSS, one called JS for JavaScript, and another one called IMG. I want those 3 folders to be in this root here. And eventually, inside your pizza, you're going to have those same 3 folders. You're going to have that in your tic-tac-toe. And every single project you make will have those 3 subfolders, CSS, JavaScript, and images. You'll put all of your images in your image folder. You'll put in your JavaScript code in your JavaScript file, and you put in the CSS inside of there. And each site, your pizza site, your tic-tac-toe site, and so forth, will have their own set of those 3 unique folders. For our purposes, though, we're not going to put it in the pizza site because I'm going to delete that in a minute anyway. But for the root site, inside directly in the htdocs, you're going to have that. You'll notice when I dragged those over there, nothing happened. And the reason for that is a couple of things. Number one, they're empty. But number two, even if they weren't empty, you can't drag multiple things at once onto this site. It doesn't work. So this is why we need to connect to a third-party software that allows you to drag files from your machine to your server. And that's called a file transfer protocol software, or FTP. Now there are lots of file transfer protocol softwares out there. The one that I prefer to use is called Smart FTP. It runs about 80 to 90 bucks, and you have to renew that every couple of years. So if you don't want to do that, you can use this free one here, and it's called FileZilla. So just open a new tab here and search for FileZilla. Just click on the download button right there. Once you do that, you can go ahead and just click on this one right here for client. Clicking on client takes you to this page, which typically it figures out what system you're on, and it gives you the correct button right here. It knows that I'm on a Windows 64-bit, and this is the one, so I click on download right there. When I do that, this little window will pop up, and these other options here, I'm not sure if they're paid or not. My guess is they are because they say select rather than download, but we only need the download, the free one here, so just click on download right there. When this pops up, just close it. Once this is done, go ahead and install it. Then agree with the license agreement if you would like to do this, obviously. And then pretty much the defaults all the way through should be fine. So we just click next and then next. If you want a desktop icon, go ahead and click right there. And then whatever folder it goes in is fine, unless you want to change it, feel free. This is just how it'll show up on your start menu over here. Again, the default's just fine with me. Go ahead and click install. Once it's done, click finish and leave that check so that it'll actually launch FileZilla. All right, what we're looking at here is a window. It's a gateway, and this is one of the most tricky concepts for new web developers to wrap their head around. FileZilla is not a place. It's a path to a place, to and from a place. And it's two places, and you can see it split right down the screen here. Right down the middle, you can actually see it. Right down the middle, you could even just sort of divide the screen up if you wanted to. And what you'll find is over here, on this side, that's actually your local machine. You can even see right there that it has my web address or my local files. Over here is nothing at the moment. Eventually, though, that's going to be your server. And you can even see there it's grayed out, but it says remote server or remote site. So you're going to use FileZilla to bridge this gap. You're going to use it to make a connection between these two sites. So just sort of imagine an invisible pipe here that connects whatever's over here to whatever's going to be over here. And then you'll be taking stuff, whatever is over here, and you're going to drag it and plant it right over there. Or vice versa, if you want to pull something down from your server, grab it, drag it over here, and put it on your local machine. So it's coming all the way from, Texas or wherever your server is located, right down here to Utah where we're at, right? So how do we get our server to show up there on the right-hand side? Well, we got to put in the host name, the username, and the password. Where do we get that stuff? It's actually right over here in our site's control panel. So let's close out FileZilla there, close my little pizzeria, close my file manager, and right over here on the right-hand side, you can see that we have one FTP account. And if you look down here, the FTP host name is right there. So copy that, paste it right there. Then your username, it says your FTP username right there. And then your username, as you can see, it says FTP username. It's right there. So grab that. Then the password is whatever password you used to create when you created the site in the first place. So there's my password. Now I just click Quick Connect. And after a moment, you can see right there on the right-hand side, there is my server. And if I go into the htdocs folder, double click that, you can actually see there is my pizza folder that's inside of there. And also if I look, this is the folder up here, but if I look down here, I can see all of the contents, my index.html plus the pizza folder, right? And I can go into the pizza folder right here and see what's in there, right? Then over here on the left is my local machine. Now, before we go any further with our FTP software here, I'm going to show you a couple of settings. They're settings I like to change. Feel free to not change these if you don't want to, but I'm going to show you where they're at. So if you go up here to Edit, go down to Settings, and the first thing you land on is Connection. The first thing you want to look at is this guy right here, timeout in 20 seconds, 20. Now, you can leave that if you want. What that means, though, is if you're trying to connect to your server and there's a delay or whatever and something happens and after 20 seconds it will disconnect and time out. If that becomes a problem over and over again, the way you can solve that is change this to 0 and that just disables the timeout. I don't know if that's an issue on this particular site or service, if it'll ever need to come to that, but if you want to set it now so you don't have to think about it, go ahead and do that. Otherwise you can leave it at 20. So that's the first thing. Next, we're going to just shrink up connection. We don't need anything else in there, and we don't need anything else in transfers. Let's take a look at interface. If we click on that, choose the layout that you prefer. I kind of like this layout the way it is. It's fine with the one exception I'm going to show you in a minute, but you can click Explorer. So it looks like this, and now you have your server up here and down here, or I'm sorry, your local machine at the top and server at the bottom. You can do widescreen, which is basically kind of what we had just a moment ago. Classic looks pretty much the same with a few exceptions. And then Blackboard, which is sort of the side-by-side thing, which I don't know if I like that or not. So pick the one you like. I think I'm going to just leave it with Classic here. That's fine. And then the one thing that I change on mine is this right here, swap local and remote. So right at the moment, you'll notice that my local is on the left and my remote is on the right. Now, if that little acronym works for you, local left, LL, remote right, RR, then leave it, whatever works for you. But for some reason, for years, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've always had my local machine on the right, and if I don't switch it to be that way, then I'm afraid I'm going to screw up and move files the wrong direction when I think I'm going to my server, but I'm not, or whatever. So I'm swapping by clicking that little checkbox right there. That swaps them, so now my remote is on the left and my local is on the right. If you don't like that, then leave it the way it was. Either way is fine. Next up, the other thing I like to change is themes. So underneath interface, if we go to themes, and you can see these icons here, the basic layout of what the icons will look like. So we can go with the defaults. We can go with this blue kiss and they'll look like this. The one I think that I liked the most was, I think it was the SUN, or is it Tango? Yeah, I think Tango is the one I prefer. So I'm going to go with that. You can also set how big they are. I'm going to make these a little bit smaller on mine and then click OK. And there we go. Now everything's set up the way I like it. Now, one other thing to note here, when you log in, we're connected at the moment, but later when you come back after you've closed it out and you want to reconnect, if you just click this little drop down link right here, you'll see that that's the connection that we've created there, right? So if I close this, and let's go back and reopen it. Now I'm not connected to my server. Notice the stuff on the left is blank, which is where my remote site is. But if I click this drop down, go down to that right there, and you can see the little message there where it's trying to connect, and there it is, it's connected. The last thing we're going to do now is move some files from our local machine to our server. An assignment that you had a couple of assignments back, I think this was actually in module 0, you had to set up a 1430 folder, right? So somewhere on your hard drive you have this CSIS 1430. Inside of there, so open that up, and you're going to create a new folder in there called htdocs. That is not a coincidence. It's going to be exactly the same name as the one on your server right there, as you can see. All right. So htdocs right there in your 1430. So let's close that out. So all this is just here in a Windows Explorer, right? To get to that, if you're on a Windows machine, you hit the Window key and the letter E, and it opens up Windows Explorer. And I just went and found my 1430 folder. Now, the goal and the way your site will be for the rest of the semester is whatever is in your htdocs on your local machine, exactly that, identical file to file, folder to folder, every little thing will be identical to what's on your htdocs on your server, right? So I've already navigated on the left here to my htdocs folder. I'm just going to double click and open it up. And when I open it up, you'll see in just a moment here that I have the index and I have the pizza, right? Over here on my computer, this is my local machine on the right-hand side, I have to go navigate around and go quickly try to find where that 1430 is, right? And it's here inside of Dropbox and then inside of here, and there it is, 1430, and then htdocs. All right, so now I'm going to line these up so that they're roughly side by side here, so that I can see on the left here, this is my folder structure, that's my actual server, and on the right here is my folder structure, that's my local machine. Now again, yours may be backwards if you didn't switch it like I did, but notice the quote problem here, which is my local machine over here on the right does not have the index file, doesn't have the pizza folder. Well, they need to match up, okay? So I'm going to quickly here look on my desktop, and this index is the one we lifted up there to the remote, and this pizza is the one we put on the remote. So I'm going to move those from my desktop just right here on the right. This is me just putting it in my local machine, right, inside of that 1430 folder. So again, if I go to this 1430 folder right here, htdocs, I'm just going to put them right here, right? So let's just do that. Drag those two there. And then if I look over here and I refresh, which I right click and go to refresh, you can see that they're now showing up. because all this is doing is looking right here. It's just looking on my local computer, just like this is looking on my remote computer, my server. Also, though, you'll recall we wanted to put these 3 folders to my server. Well, I'm going to drop them here in my local machine in the htdocs folder. I'm just going to close Windows Explorer now and expand this back out. Refresh this. And here you go. Now the local thing on the right-hand side, remember, for mine, all my local files are on the right. That's my actual laptop. That is where I, the web programmer developer, and you, the web programmer developer, write all of your code. You test it locally on your local machine on a browser. Then when all is said and done and everything's working right, then you drag it up to your server. So I've already got the index file. It's already dragged over there. I've already got the pizza file. It's already dragged over there. Let's drag these 3 guys. So 1, 2, 3, and I'll just drag that right over. And now, just as you can see the little notes down below, it transfers all the files and everything's done. Now, what happens if I decide to edit this index.html? So if I'm going to edit it, I'm going to open up Notepad++ or whatever text editor you're using. And then I can just drag this file right onto my Notepad. Or I can go through the file, open, process, or whatever. But here we go, Stone Cold Professor. Well, I'm going to make a quick little change here and say something like, welcome. And now I've made this change here. Now, before we look at it locally, you'll notice here that this little message pops up saying, hey, this file's been edited. Do you want to upload it to the server? And the answer is no, I don't want to upload it to the server. Okay, I'm going to click no there. Leave this open for a minute, though. And I'm going to go into that 1430 folder, into my htdocs. And if I double click on that, this is the local version, which says welcome. The remote version we're going to put right here, Stone Cold Professor.freesite.vip. And you'll notice it doesn't have that little welcome there because the server version is not the same as my local version because I haven't uploaded it yet. So we go back to FileZilla and I take this file here and I drag it over. And now it's going to ask me, do I want to overwrite it? Obviously, I want to overwrite it because I want the one on my server to be local, or to be live, I should say, to be current. But make sure you check this before, because every once in a while you'll accidentally drag a file up there that you didn't mean to. I've done that before. So click OK. And now you see that it's done. And we come back over here. Now I refresh the live one. And there it is. It has the welcome message. Now that our local files and our remote files are the same, let's say you made some major changes to your main root site here, right? You changed the index file, you changed your JavaScript stuff that's in there, you added some more images, you changed your CSS, which this is stuff we haven't learned yet, but eventually you will. And you even updated your pizza site. So you just want to drag all this stuff right here all the way over onto this side and just upload, again, I'm dragging from the right, which is my local, to my server on the left. Yours may be reversed. So I just drag it over and I get this overwrite message again, right? But if you just click OK, what's going to happen is it's going to ask you again with the next file and again with the next file, right? So you can set something like overwrite this if the source is newer. That will just overwrite this one file that we're looking at right here. And then it'll ask you the same question again on the next file, and you'll choose an option. That can get really tedious, or you can just sit here and click OK 1,000 times for every single file you're uploading. However, what you can do is say always use this, but be careful, because if you do that and click OK, then from now on, every time you ever use FileZilla, it will always overwrite no matter what. You don't want that. So what you want to do is say apply it to the current queue only. And you can even go as far as saying only apply it to your uploads. But we're saying just apply it to the current queue only, meaning only this one time right now. So I click OK. And now it's going to upload everything and it's not going to fight with me on it, right? So now if I close down and then I reopen, then I reconnect, then I go to the htdocs folder on my server, and then I re-upload everything one more time. It's going to ask me again, do I want to overwrite? So I didn't make it to where it will always overwrite. We don't want that to happen, obviously. So always use it just to the current queue, and that's it. Now everything's done. So now my local site here on the right matches my remote site here on the left. So moving forward throughout the rest of the semester, you're going to be obviously building more and more websites. So I'm going to close FileZilla here, close the browser, close everything out, get rid of that install file, get rid of everything here. And I'm just going to go in, like right now, I got an assignment, let's say that I'm supposed to build a certain project. So I'm going to go to my 1430 folder here. This is exactly what you'll do. You go into your htdocs, and then you'll create a new folder. And your first one that you're going to be doing is called, I believe, tables. So we're going to create a folder called tables. And then inside of tables, we're going to write some HTML, right? So if I open up my text editor here, once my text editor is open, I just write my code, which there's my code that I've written. And of course, this will be more involved for the assignment, but I'm going to save it, file, save as, and I'm going to, where am I going to put it? I'm going to navigate to that 1430 htdocs and into the tables folder, and we're going to call it index.html. There we go. I've saved it. Now I have this nice site here, and I go back over here to my tables here just on my local machine. I don't have my server. I'm not connected to my server. I don't have FileZilla open, nothing like that. But I look inside the tables here and I open up index. There it is. It works locally, no problem, right? Well, now that it's working locally, I want to upload it to my server. So close all this stuff out here when I'm all done and open up FileZilla. Once you're open in FileZilla, connect. Once you're connected, go to your htdocs on your server and make sure you're in your htdocs on your local site, which typically it'll remember the last place you were. So you should be good to go. But look, all that I got to do to make things match, look at, I have index here, index there, pizza one there, pizza one there, JS image CSS, JS image CSS. The only thing that's not on my remote that is on my local is this tables thing. Well, just grab it, move it over, and it doesn't ask me about overriding because there was nothing to override. But now on my local machine right here is tables, and on my remote machine is tables. And then if I want to see it live in a browser, we go to the browser and we type in your URL, which this is mine, slash whatever that folder is called, which is tables. And here we go, YouTube and tables. Now my site's live. And then when you submit that assignment, you're going to submit that URL right there. Of course, yours won't say Stone Cold Professor. It'll say something else. That is how you develop on your local machine, test on your local machine, publish it to your server, and then now you have a URL that you can give to me for your submission and to your friends and family to show off your site. So at the end of the semester, like the very last day of class, you will submit that URL right there. Of course, it won't say Stone Cold Professor. It'll say your name, .freesite.vip. Now, if you have your own domain name and you want to use that throughout the entire semester, that's totally fine. If you already know how to do that, then you can do your own thing. You don't have to use this one, but it's free and it works and it's great. So once the semester is up, though, that is the final thing you're going to be submitting. And this home page will actually be full of links to all of your other sites, right? It's going to be a link to your pizza site on here. It's going to have maybe a picture of you on here. It's going to have a paragraph about you. It's going to have your reflection about the course. It's going to have links to your tic-tac-toe game, to your guessing game, to all of your projects. And this will be a nice, fully fleshed out, professional portfolio site with all of your work that you've done on this one page. And so I'll go to your home page and that is your final, and I'll be grading it from right here. So you'll notice in the assignment that's called setting up your remote environment, which is why you're watching this video, you have to set up the index page here, but you have to set it up a little bit differently. Mine just says Stone Cold Professor Welcome. What you really need to do is set it up so that it has some specific text that's actually part of the assignment. So I'm going to edit that file right there, right click, edit with Notepad, and I'm just going to replace that with this, which is text that's given to you in the assignment instructions. And it says this is Jeff Stone's page, or whatever your name is. By the end of the semester, this page will be my final project with links to all of my other projects. Okay, or to all my projects. Save that. Go to FileZilla, refresh it over here just to make sure that we have the current version of it. And then I'm just going to drag that one index page right over here. And do I want to overwrite it? Yes, I do. And now, when I come back, when I refresh this page, it says this is Jeff Stone's page. By the end of the semester, this page will be my final project with links to all my other projects. So throughout the semester, what I would recommend is every time you make a new project, add a link to it right here. And we'll learn how to do that as we go along. Thanks for making it through this entire video, but now you've got a server and your development environment's all set up and you're ready to go and blossom as a budding web professional. Good luck throughout the rest of the semester.